I'm 77 years old, and there's something I need to say that still makes me uncomfortable to admit. For most of my life, I thought being strong meant staying silent. I believed that if I didn't complain, didn't ask, didn't show weakness, then I was doing life the right way. That belief cost me more than I understood at the time. It cost me relationships. It cost me closeness. It cost me moments I can't get back. If you think strength means holding everything in, I want you to listen carefully, because that idea almost followed me into the grave.
For a long time, my life looked successful from the outside. I worked hard, I was reliable, people respected me. I paid my bills on time, I showed up early, I kept my word. I built a career slowly, patiently. Nothing flashy, just steady progress. Promotions came, responsibilities increased. People called me solid, dependable, strong, and I wore those words like armor. I didn't talk much about how I felt. I didn't think feelings were necessary. There was work to do, a family to provide for. Problems were meant to be handled quietly. At the time, I didn't notice the emptiness. Or maybe I did and just didn't have a name for it. Life felt like a list of things to complete. One goal finished, another immediately replacing it. I told myself that was adulthood, that fulfillment came later. The turning point wasn't dramatic. No movie moment, no grand speech. It was a hospital room. I had ignored the signs for months. Fatigue, pain I explained away. I didn't want to bother anyone, didn't want to look weak. When the doctor finally sat down and spoke slowly, I knew my body had been keeping a truth I refused to listen to. In that quiet room with machines humming beside me, time felt very different. Not long, not endless, not guaranteed. For the first time, mortality wasn't an idea. It was a fact sitting at the edge of the bed. And what scared me wasn't dying. It was realizing how much of my life I had never really entered. That's when the thought came, soft but devastating. I wasn't really living. I was completing tasks. I had spent decades checking boxes, assuming meaning would show up at the end, as if life was a receipt I'd review later. The lie I told myself was simple. I have time. Time to talk, time to fix things, time to feel things later. If you're listening and thinking, yes, but I'm busy right now, that's exactly what I said too. Busy is a very convincing excuse, and a very expensive one. I chased success because it felt safe, measurable, respectable. Money helped, of course it did. It solved problems, opened doors, but it never stayed satisfying. The finish line kept moving. Every achievement quickly became normal, then insufficient. I remember a colleague of mine, brilliant man, always working. He said he'd slow down next year. He never did. Next year came without him. At his funeral, people spoke about his work, very little about who he was to them. That should have warned me. It didn't. The regrets didn't arrive all at once. They came quietly, like visitors I couldn't turn away. I regret the conversations I didn't have because I didn't know how to start them. I regret the apologies I rehearsed but never said out loud. I regret the evenings I spent exhausted when my children wanted my attention and I thought providing was enough. I regret not telling my parents how often I thought of them after they were gone. I regret friendships that faded because neither of us wanted to admit we missed each other. There are names I still say in my head, people I assumed would always be there. Silence seemed safer at the time. Now it's just empty. When you strip life down far enough, very little remains. Not titles, not savings accounts, not the things people applauded you for. What remains are people, moments where you were fully there, times you allowed yourself to be known. I know that sounds obvious. I would have nodded politely at this advice once, but knowing something and living it are very different things. When you're young, you think life expands. When you're old, you realize it narrows, and what you didn't hold on to slips away first. So let me ask you something uncomfortable. Just one question. If your life ended sooner than you expect, would the people who matter most know how you truly felt about them? Not what you provided, not what you endured, what you felt. Sit with that question. Don't answer it quickly. If I could speak to my younger self, I wouldn't give wisdom. I'd give instructions. Stop pretending you're fine when you're not. Stop treating vulnerability like a failure. Stop believing silence equals strength. Start saying the thing that scares you. Start choosing presence over productivity. Start letting people see you unfinished. I don't say this as advice. I say it as regret. I'm 77 years old now. My future is smaller than my past. Strangely, I'm happier in some ways than I was in my busiest years. Not because life is easier, but because I finally stopped hiding from it. I wish I had learned this earlier. I wish I had trusted people sooner. I wish I had spoken before time made the decision for me. If there's one thing I want you to take from this, it's not urgency, it's honesty. So I'll end with this. What are you staying silent about that one day you may no longer get the chance to say? Take your time answering.